One of these shoes is shaped like a foot, the other one is from Vans. Vans have been on the market since the 1960s. Their popularity and quality can't be denied. But we would argue that they are not good for your feet. Before I transitioned into minimalist footwear, they were always a part of my closet. But after experiencing how great minimalist shoes are, especially when it comes to letting your toes splay out naturally, because of their pointy shape, I had to let my Vans go. Lucky for me, we found Splay Shoes, one of our favorite alternatives to Vans because they retain that classic canvas sneaker look, but actually let your foot function the way it's supposed to. In today's review, we're focused on the Splay slip-on.
Hey there folks, I'm glad you're here. My name is Chris, and this is the Sons of Sever YouTube channel where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. We are finally getting into the nicer weather part of the year, so we will be leaving barefoot boots behind for a little bit. We actually still have some that are on their way to us, so you may see barefoot boots sprinkled into our content here and there, but we're going to be focusing a lot on casual and sporty shoes in the months to come, and we have a ridiculous lineup for you. We wanted to start with what we think is a heavy hitter in the space, so we're going to talk today about the Splay slip-on. Now, if you want to go and watch the review for the Explorer and the Freestyle, make sure to go and hit this card to check those out. These are the first Splays that we tried and we loved them. So we are an affiliate with Splay. If you are at any point interested in any of their offerings as we're talking in this video, head down to the link in the description. I think we have a discount code that is down there with that link as well. Something interesting to note about Splays is that they're pretty much all the exact same shoe. They just come in different stylings. So laces on the Freestyle, Velcro on the Explorer, and finally a slip-on with the slip-on, which they came out with in 2023. If you've watched our channel at all, you know I love it when shoes slip on and off, so this was a no-brainer for us. Talking about some of the features, we are zero drop, a 5mm stack height if you don't use the insole, which I do not with these. We are ridiculously flexible as far as materials go. We have a cotton canvas upper, which gives them kind of a very classic, canvasy, almost Vans-like aesthetic. The last feature I want to talk about, which is a little bit controversial, is the toe box. This is by far one of the widest toe boxes that we've worked with. It may be the widest toe box that we've worked with. I actually went ahead and measured a couple of the widest toe box options that we have for comparison. One of them is not quite the widest, but just for comparison's sake, I went forward and did this, pulled out my measuring tape, and got some interesting data for you. The reason why I did this is because some other reviewers have decided to take these Splays and be controversial by saying that the toe box of these Splays is not wide enough. We're pretty sure this is just clickbait and just for the views and just to sound interesting, because based on the data that I have before me, we're going to disprove that real quick. So starting with the slip-on itself, from the widest portion, the slip-on is 4.5 inches, and then from the big toe to where my pinky toe sits is 4 3/4 inches. Moving on to another very wide toe box is the Blanca York, which we reviewed last week. That comes in at 4.5 inches as well, and 4 3/4 inches as well. So they have very similar toe box widths. This next one is the controversial one in my opinion because it has been used by another reviewer to show that the Splay was not as wide, and that is the Vivo Barefoot Primus Lite 3, which comes in at 4 1/4 inches at the widest and 4 1/2 inches from the big toe to the pinky toe. Clearly, the Splays are wider. Some other popular options out there are the Feelgrounds high-rise knit, which comes in at 4 3/8 at the widest and 4 1/2 from the big toe to the pinky toe. And last but not least, the Lems Primal Zen, one of our favorite toe boxes, coming in at 4 1/2 at the widest and 4 7/8 from the big toe to the pinky toe. Now, this is measuring from my big toe to my pinky toe, so your mileage may vary, but I find that the Splay toe box is one of the most pleasant. Now, with all the features and the controversy out of the way, I'm going to pass things over to Eric to kick us off with his likes of the Splay slip-on.
All right, so when it comes to my likes of these Splay slip-on shoes, the first thing that I'm going to say, and it's something that we've said many times before, you even heard it in the intro, I think these are the perfect barefoot or minimalist shoe alternative to Vans or Chuck Taylors. If you're looking for that classic canvas sneaker look, but you want a shoe that has great barefoot qualities as well, Splay is really hard to beat. Their toe boxes are crazy wide, they're very flat, very thin, and very flexible. And a great thing about them too, another thing that I love about Splay, is that they're more affordable. These ones come in regularly at $70, but they're on sale right now for $55. And I noticed on Vans' website that their slip-on models are $55. And I think you can get the Explorers for around $50 to $55. So they just aren't outrageously priced like a lot of barefoot shoes that have you pushing over $100 to get this same kind of look and same kind of quality. Another thing I really like about Splay shoes in general is that they have kid sizes. So if you're looking to get barefoot shoes for your kids because you're worried about their feet and want them to grow up with strong and healthy feet, then go and check out their kid selection as well. Another thing I like about this model specifically is the convenience of being able to slip it off and on. The Freestyles and Explorers are great, and the Explorers themselves are pretty convenient with the Velcro strap, but these take it to another level. They're so easy to get on. You can run out and do some chores, whether that's taking the garbage out or getting the mail, and you can also just throw them on to run outside and go play with your kids. So we really like the convenience that the slip-on model provides, and I really like the outsole. It's a nice soft rubber that's very sticky, and it's been holding up really well to the abuse that we've put it through. So we got a few longboards, as Chris mentioned, and you see a lot of B-roll shots of us going out with these. And this right shoe is my braking foot when I'm longboarding, and I've been impressed with how that outsole has been holding up to the wear and the tear of taking it out to do that. So I do think that these are made pretty well. There's been some commenters out there that have said like theirs have fallen apart. Chris and I have had Splay shoes for almost a year now, probably over a year, and none of ours have had any problems with their durability. So I think there's a lot to like about Splay shoes, and specifically about this slip-on version as well.
I'm going to kick my likes off by talking about the stack height. That 5mm allows for fantastic ground feel. You really get connected with what's underneath your feet. I love all of Splay's because of the wide toe box and the zero drop and the extreme minimalism of that sole that I'm focusing on. It's really nice for you to be able to dig into the floor when you're doing deadlifts, when you're doing squats, any kind of movement where you need to be anchored to the ground. Splays are great for that. Between the minimalism and the flexibility of the sole and the fantastic grip of the outsoles that they use, these connect you really nicely to the floor when lifting weights and doing other exercises. We're a huge fan of the flexibility of all of Splay's offerings, including this slip-on shoe. You're gonna see us rolling in a whole bunch of B-roll of us using these on the Retrospec longboards that we just got. We are affiliates of Retrospec. We're gonna be reviewing one of their e-bikes here during the nice weather at some point this year. If you think these longboards look sweet, make sure to head down to the link in the description and go and check out their website. But I love these things for activities like that, especially with how easy they are to slip on and off. Eric mentioned the convenience factor, then add in the flexibility, and they're so great for things like boarding around. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to this shoe and what I like about it is the no frills minimalism. It is not a crazy looking complicated shoe. It is a simple slip-on with fantastic barefoot attributes. I appreciate the simplicity, I appreciate the minimalism, and it's just such an easy shoe to like. That said, there are definitely some things that we don't like about this shoe, but before we get into our dislikes, we want to mention some affiliates. Are you looking to take your barefoot shoe experience to another level? Then you're gonna need a solid pair of toe socks that lets you take advantage of all that Toebox. We love Creeper's Toe Socks, a sock that beat out 6 other toe sock brands in a comparison video we did that you can see through the card up in the corner. Whether it's cold or hot, whether you're hiking, running, or lounging, Creeper's Toe Socks will ensure that your feet stay comfy, dry, and healthy. If you're interested in checking out Creepers, head down to the link in the description and use our discount code to save yourself 15% off at checkout.
All right, so when it comes to my dislikes of the Splay slip-on shoe, The first thing that I can think of is that it's the most uncomfortable of all the Splay models that we have, and we've got everything that they have to offer. We've got the Freestyle, the Explorer, the Leather, and now this slip-on, and it does require a break-in period. This is definitely pretty tight when it first comes out of the box, but after about a week or two, they totally have broken in for me, and I no longer feel any sort of pressure when I wear them like I did when I first got them out of the box. So I do think that they break in. Don't give up on them if you buy them and you feel that squeeze. They are going to break in. They're going to be more comfortable, although I will say they're still the most uncomfortable pair out of the lineup that Splay has. And then the next thing is that I wish that they had more colorways. I wish that they had like more exciting patterns and things like that. When you look at Vans, we talk about them a lot. They're kind of the standard. They always have these cool collaborations with like Disney characters and things like that. And it would be so fun to have a Splay shoe that had that type of a pattern on it. Maybe something that they can pull out in the future. I don't know. They're still a really small and pretty young company. So we'll see what happens with their models in the future, I guess. The last thing that I'll say is that these are not very comfortable to wear without socks. And the fact that they're so low cut means that you need to wear no-show socks. I'm calling out Chris right now. You can't wear these things with ankle high. That just doesn't work. And luckily for us, we have some really good toe no-show socks from Paluva that I would highly suggest you go and pick up if you are going to wear these, because it's just a fashion faux pas. You shouldn't be wearing these types of slip-on shoes and still be able to see your socks. It just doesn't look right.
Getting into my dislikes, my first one dovetails a little bit with Eric's dislike of break-in time, and that is the volume. Right out of the box, these things squeeze the top of your feet, and if you have hairy feet like I do, which I do actually need to shave in order to be comfortable all of the time, hairy feet don't like low volume shoes because even if you wear socks, they rub and it hurts. This was an issue I experienced with the Lems Chelsea boot as well. Obviously, they don't have laces, so volume is gonna be based on whatever the manufacturer decides. There's no adjusting that, but over time I found that these bungees have been breaking in. That is giving me some relief, so the jury's not out on whether these will always be too low volume or not. Hopefully we'll give you an update in a future toe-to-toe after we've worn these just a little bit more. My next dislike is going to be the low cut of the tongue. As I mentioned, hairy feet. I have to keep them shaved or else a shoe like this is going to show the hair on the top of my foot popping out. Kind of gross, kind of annoying. I mostly wear socks with these anyway for the most part, but wearing high socks with a low cut shoe can look goofy at times depending on the sock and also depending on the shoe. Preferably, we would just have that tongue be about a ½ inch taller. A shoe that this is eventually going to go toe to toe with is the Barefoot Oso. If you put them next to each other, you'll notice that the Oso tongue is oh so higher. It's probably a ½ inch to an inch higher up the foot, and I really like that. This thing, in my opinion, looks good and not too crazy goofy when it comes to the tongue and how much of your foot it shows. Kind of a nitpicky thing, but yeah, I'd love to see that tongue just a little higher. With all that said, can I recommend this shoe? What is my final opinion of it? I love this shoe. It's so convenient. We've got a toddler park that's like a 2-minute walk from our house, and my almost 2-year-old wants to go there every single day when I get home from work, and it's so nice to be able to just slip these guys on, have a nice wide toe box, plenty of flexibility and ground feel, and just out the door immediately, because you know toddlers don't like to wait. I couldn't recommend this shoe enough. I recommend it just as much as the Freestyle, another Splay shoe I absolutely adore. With my dislikes and my final opinion out of the way, I'm going to pass things back over to Eric to give us our outro for the video.
All right, so to wrap this thing up for you, we definitely would recommend Splay Shoes for anybody who's out there looking for that classic canvas sneaker, but they want it to have barefoot properties as well. We really like the barefoot experience that they give. We think they come in at a great price, and we think that they are very healthy for your feet. We like this slip-on model, especially the convenience that it provides. Thank you so much for the view. We really appreciate it. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. We do have a ton more of these videos coming out throughout the spring and summer. We have a big lineup of shoes that we need to work our way through. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss any of those. There's a bunch of different places that you can follow us online. We would really appreciate it if you would come and follow us on Patreon. You can subscribe to us there. The subscription costs $1 a month, and then you get a bunch of behind the scenes content from us. Come and follow us on Instagram. That's where we're showing you all of our unboxing videos for the gear that we're getting into our hands. And then we'd also love if you'd come and join us on Strava. That's a really cool app that's like the social media for being active and exercising. You can log your hikes and your runs. If you go biking, anything active that you can do, you can put on there. And if you follow us, we'll follow you back. We'll continue to build up that awesome community of like-minded outdoor and active enthusiasts and be able to support each other that way. Thank you so much again. We'll see you in the mountains.